National unions of teachers in Lewisham are striking at 4 schools in Lewisham today. They against the idea to turn those 4 schools into academies. Academies have more freedom than other state schools over their finances, curriculums and teachers' pay and condition, both of which raise the concerns of national unions of teachers.
The strike is to make sure that the threat that we have, that 4 of our schools in the borough are turned into privatised academy, does not succeed. We do not agree with the privatisation of education. We're determined to stop it.
What makes you think that the academy was not effective?
Even a committee of MPs from Westminster are saying themselves that there is absolutely no evidence that turning schools into academies benefits education. It does not.
So there will be a strike in 4 places tomorrow. Are you confident that this action will be heard by the decision maker?
Absolutely. The reason that we're having to take strike action is to make sure that they take note of quite how strongly staff feel about the attack, but also to make sure that we get the message out to parents that they start to ask questions. What is happening to their children's education? Why are these decisions being made? And why have they not been properly consulted about their opinions too?
Some teachers voiced their concern that privatization will lead them into legal implication. For example, teachers who decide to return to work in a maintained school in the same borough as their academy will not have continuity of employment for the purposes of qualifying for statutory rights. Do you support the strike?
I support the strike, yes. There's no evidence that academies work. All they do, there's no evidence at all in any of the academy chains that they're making an actual difference. It's quite the opposite. They're to the detriment overall of education.
Yes, I do. I think it's a really important strike to stop the academies.
What makes you oppose the academy?
I'm a teacher and I value education. Academies are about bringing the market into education so that people can make profit from our schools, so that people can select which children they choose to educate and which children they choose not to educate, which I think is wrong.
I'm opposed to academies because I think they are breaking up the comprehensive education system in this country. They're taking away democratic control at a local level in the ability to plan school admissions and have a family of schools that support each other. I think it's very, very wrong that we're given to understand that schools will do better as academies, because there's a lot of evidence to the contrary to say that some academies may be more successful, but many are not. And I think it's also a route of bringing in privatisation into education, which I'm totally opposed to. And I think the support here today of teachers, parents and students means that they understand those issues are a great deal to be stood up for. And I think it's really good that people now believe that they have to fight for local schools, locally accountable schools.
In a meeting before the strike yesterday, the national unions of teachers in Lewisham were disappointed by the lack of support shown by the councillor in the borough.
Well, unfortunately, as we've seen in one of the battles over Sedgehill School, then some of the councillors themselves seem to be supporting academies. We're very pleased to say that there are a minority of Labour councillors that have questioned what is being done, but we would like to know what it is that a Labour council is doing supporting the academisation and the privatisation of schools. It's a policy which they should oppose if they're really in support of public services.
Well, the last question will be, how would you explain to the parents the reason why do they have to oppose the academy school?
I put it quite simply. In their everyday experience, they'll know what's happened to their transport system, to their hospitals, to their local services. If they are privatised, there are only 2 things you can guarantee. 1, the service gets worse, and 2, the only people who benefit are the people in charge of those companies. Exactly the same thing will happen to education. Children's education will suffer, and the only people who will benefit are the education businesses that are trying to run these schools. That's not right for education, and that's why we are opposed to it, and we would ask parents to oppose it as well.
By changing into academy school, 4 schools in Lewisham will be able to set their own finance and curriculum. National unions of teachers in Lewisham raised their concern. Such change might affect their wage, working condition, protection from unfair dismissal and maternity rights. For East London Line, I'm Hanif Thamrin.